Stephanie White, Caitlin Clark, little interaction here that seems like Caitlin Clark wasn't too happy with whatever was going on between her and the coaching staff tonight. You got Stephanie White doing the yapping that she does. Caitlin Clark doesn't want to hear it. Physically cringing. Look at this. Physically cringing, looking physically ill. Looking physically ill. Physically ill by whatever Stephanie White's saying. Like, damn, I'm tired of hearing this. But hey.
Caitlin Clark had just endured a game she would probably love to erase from memory. But what happened after the final whistle may have raised even more questions. As the cameras searched for reactions, attention quickly shifted toward the sideline, where something appeared noticeably off. Why did Caitlin seem so distant? Was there tension with Stephanie White, or was something else happening behind the scenes that fans completely missed?
Still pissed off. I'm still pissed. This was straight up sabotage. Stephanie White, you are a bum. Aaliyah Boston, you are even more of a bum. You are a $6 million piece of garbage out there. Your ass can't make a layup. You refuse to pass the ball to Caitlin Clark. You stink. You stink. You've been intentionally not passing the ball to Caitlin Clark for the last 7-8 games. We've been watching and counting. I've been watching your ass not pass her the ball.
Caitlin Clark had a terrible game. The Indiana Fever suffered an embarrassing loss. And then the cameras caught a moment that sent fans into full detective mode. It was not a technical foul, an ejection, or some dramatic screaming match that required security to separate everybody.
Oh, yeah. Y'all thought we was done? We ain't done yet, dog. I'm here to tell you, Caitlin Clark is letting all the cats out the bag. There's too much surrounding this team nationally and internationally in regards to Sophie Cunningham, in regards to Caitlin Clark assaults, in regards to Stephanie White not taking up for her players. Should we keep going with storyline after storyline coming out about this team? And not to mention, Stephanie White not challenging any of Caitlin Clark's fights.
In fact, that was exactly what made the moment more interesting. Caitlin appeared to turn away from Stephanie White, and suddenly, one question began taking over the conversation. Was this simply the frustration of a brutal night, or was something much bigger starting to crack beneath the surface? Because when a superstar struggles, people usually focus on the missed shots.
Stephanie White said, no, get over here. Get over here, CC. Let me talk to you. Don't you walk away from me. Like, yeah, I'm walking away. I'm walking away. Again, folks, not the most entertaining game. Weren't too many screens set for Caitlin Clark today. Personally, I wanted to see her be a little bit more aggressive. She finished taking 15 shots. Me personally, she finished the first half shooting 2 for 7. Shoot, if we're shooting 2 for 7, at that point, shoot 2 for 11. Keep hunting that shot. Keep hunting that shot. Keep hunting that shot.
When a team loses, people usually blame the defense. But when the body language between a franchise player and her coach starts becoming the main topic after the game, the conversation changes very quickly, and this particular loss gave fans plenty to argue about. The Fever went into the game against a Dallas Wings team that had been struggling, yet Indiana came away with a frustrating 91-85 defeat.
Wings won 91-85. I'm disgusted, B. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Kelsey Mitchell did have a good game. She dropped 37 points. She officially passed A'ja Wilson, so she has the most consecutive 20-point games. With that being said, Stephanie White, can we get back to trying to win basketball games now? She has the streak. She won it. She won it. Can we get back to trying to win now? Because I think this is nasty. All right, it was blatantly clear to me that she was making this game about Kelsey Mitchell, to the point that Aaliyah Boston's not playing good. Caitlin Clark's not playing good. Like, let me tell you something stupid. We ain't gonna win nothing like this.
Caitlin Clark finished with 10 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds. But the shooting numbers were ugly as she went 4 for 15 from the field and 2 for 8 from three-point range. There is no need to sugarcoat that performance. Caitlin did not play well. She missed shots that she normally makes, struggled to find a consistent rhythm, and never looked completely comfortable within the flow of the offense. For a player capable of taking over a game with one deep three-pointer and turning an ordinary possession into a highlight before the defense even realizes what happened, this was a night where almost everything felt slightly off. However, That is where the argument becomes much more complicated because one of the loudest complaints from fans was not simply that Caitlin missed shots. The complaint was that she never found her rhythm. And to be clear, this is not a criticism of Kelsey Mitchell. If a player is scoring 37 points, nobody should be pretending that she needs to apologize for being good at basketball. Mitchell did exactly what a scorer is supposed to do when the opportunities are there. She attacked, knocked down shots, got to the free throw line, and carried a massive share of the offensive load.
Had everything to do with them seeing Caitlin Clark climbing that MVP ladder, and they said, hell no, we are sabotaging this, and that is exactly what happened. The Indiana Fever lose to a team in the Dallas Wings that lost 8 out of their last 11 games. You could thank Stephanie White, who wanted to make it all about Kelsey Mitchell. I am disgusted with the Indiana Fever. I am disgusted. Stephanie White, get your bum ass in the trash. Get your bum ass in the trash. You are a bum of a coach. You are terrible. You are terrible. You mean to tell me the very first play of the game was ran for Kelsey Mitchell? Caitlin Clark threw her a bounce pass. Kelsey Mitchell went to turn the corner, got fouled, went to the free throw line.
The problem, according to frustrated fans, was the balance. They watched the offense and felt that Caitlin was not being given enough opportunities to get comfortable before the game started slipping away. They pointed to the lack of early pick-and-roll actions designed specifically for her, the limited movement used to create clean three-point looks, and several possessions where she appeared to give up the ball without getting it back. That is an important distinction because there is a difference between saying Caitlin Clark should shoot every possession and saying one of the most dangerous offensive players in basketball should be actively involved in the offense. Nobody is asking for the Caitlin Clark Basketball Association, where everybody else stands in the corner and waits for a government-issued permission slip to touch the ball. Basketball does not work that way. When she is reduced to standing off the ball for long stretches, the offense can start looking like someone accidentally changed the Wi-Fi password and nobody knows where the connection went. That was the frustration surrounding this game. Fans felt that Kelsey Mitchell was being deliberately established while Caitlin was expected to figure things out later. By the time the Fever began putting her in more favorable actions, she had already missed enough shots to make the entire night feel like an uphill climb.
Caitlin Clark get mugged, get hacked down there every play. We seen her get tackled tonight alone. Well, I'm ready to tell you, there's more because Caitlin Clark is single-handedly, subliminally telling us fans that there's issues going on with Stephanie White. Now, Caitlin Clark was on the sideline. Stephanie White was trying to talk to Caitlin Clark. Now, this should not come as a surprise. When Caitlin Clark gets frustrated, she don't want to talk to nobody. And this was another situation like that. Only thing different is Caitlin Clark sat, she listened for a little bit, kind of turned away, walked away, went to the bench. Caitlin Clark got back in the game, got the ball, and Caitlin got like this move, a gesture. You can tell when Caitlin Clark not finna pass the ball.
Once a shooter begins losing rhythm, basketball can quickly become a psychological battle as much as a physical one. Every missed shot adds a little more pressure to the next attempt. Every possession begins to feel heavier, and an aggressive defender suddenly appears even more difficult to beat. Instead of playing freely and reacting naturally to what is happening on the floor, a player can gradually become more conscious of the misses that came before. Caitlin Clark appeared to face that kind of frustration as the game continued. And although she attempted to become more aggressive later in the contest, it seemed increasingly difficult for her to find the rhythm that had escaped her earlier. As the game became more frustrating, attention eventually shifted away from the missed shots and toward a moment involving Stephanie White. A clip began circulating in which Caitlin appeared to turn away while White was attempting to communicate with her, and that brief interaction immediately became a talking point. The reality is that a few seconds of video cannot reveal the complete relationship between a player and a coach. Caitlin had endured a difficult game. The Fever were dealing with the frustration of a disappointing loss, and emotions were understandably running high. It is entirely possible that the moment reflected nothing more than a player who was frustrated with herself and wanted to move on from a difficult sequence. At the same time, once a moment like that appears on camera, particularly when it involves Caitlin Clark, fans are naturally going to study every movement as though they have suddenly been hired by the FBI's basketball behavior unit.
What did this thing end? It's a 6-point game, but guys, That's a little deceiving. The entire second half felt like all wings. You kept thinking Caitlin Clark was going to get hot and start doing something. That didn't happen. Kelsey Mitchell had a big damn game. Real big. But in the end, it was not enough. It was not enough at all.
That is the strange reality of professional sports in the modern era. Once fans begin to suspect that there may be tension between two people, almost every interaction starts looking like evidence. If a coach speaks to a player, viewers begin wondering whether the conversation is supportive or critical. If the player looks away, social media immediately begins preparing a relationship obituary for a partnership that may not even have a problem. Before long, one awkward camera angle can produce a dozen theories about what might be happening behind closed doors. The discussion surrounding the clip is largely based on interpretation, body language, and the timing of the moment. However, even if the viral reaction has gone beyond what the evidence can support, the conversation has still raised a much more important basketball question. Are Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever consistently getting the most out of their offensive system? That question becomes particularly interesting when considering the role of Aaliyah Boston in the offense. Boston finished the game with 14 points and 9 rebounds, but some fans were frustrated by what they believed were missed opportunities involving the connection between her and Caitlin.
Kelsey could be the only one playing good, and we're going to win games. Your ass might want to go look at her record before Clark got here. See how many games she was winning. She was winning playing like that. 5 games, 6 games. Her and AB winning 13 games in the season. Like, bro, you need Clark to be in her bag. When Clark is in her bag, the defense tightens up on her. Now people are open. Now Kelsey can cut. Now all kind of good things happen. When you go through Kelsey, everybody's just standing there. What don't you get about that yet? Like, oh my God. Like, Clark, please, I need you to get away from her, man. I know, I love Steph. We ride, whatever. We need you to go somewhere where you're a priority, bro. Because you're not the main priority on this team.
Even so, the concerns about offensive chemistry should not be dismissed entirely, because Caitlin and Boston have the potential to form one of the most effective two-player combinations in the league. Caitlin's ability to stretch the defense and create passing opportunities, combined with Boston's ability to operate around the basket, should constantly place opposing teams in uncomfortable situations. When their chemistry is working properly, defenders are forced into difficult choices because helping too aggressively on Caitlin can create space for Boston, while committing too much attention to Boston can give Caitlin the room she needs to attack or create for another teammate. That kind of balance is how elite offenses force defenses into uncomfortable decisions. When the ball moves with purpose, that coordinated rhythm becomes obvious, and the missed opportunities became more noticeable as the game continued. While Indiana struggled to establish consistent momentum, Dallas found enough balance to take advantage. Jessica Shepard delivered a dominant performance, particularly during the first half, and finished with 26 points and 8 rebounds. Eric Ogunbowl added 32 points, while Paige Buchers contributed despite an inefficient shooting night. The Wings did not need every player to produce a perfect performance because they created enough offense, made important plays when the opportunities appeared, and took advantage of an Indiana team that could not consistently settle into a rhythm.
This might be the weirdest thing, ladies and gentlemen, I've ever seen in my life. Teams can't stop the Fever, so now they're resorting to dirty tactics to defeat the Fever, to slow down the Fever. This can potentially, with no exaggeration, kill a Fever. A player can lose their life from what's happening with these opposing teams that the Indiana Fever have played, not once, but back-to-back games. This is a very, very, very suspicious trend that is happening.